Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the Vault. Trust Christian own nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the Vault, episode 692. Sunday Trustee Training, Charity, and Trust. Definitely excited and thankful for everybody that tunes in, listen live in the replay. People that hit the like, hit the subscribe. Definitely appreciate you all. Yep, so this is the voice of Trust Christian Own Nothing Control Everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay, and then going to hop straight into it. This is Sunday Trustee Training, Charity, and Trust, and really, I'm just really thankful for that. We can do this episode today. A lot of trustees are trying to figure out how to integrate charitable trust into their family echelon, and so we definitely are going to go over that today. How you can implement it, the various different ones, the ones that we engage with, and things of that nature. So, what happens when you can actually live your life through your charity? A lot of people say, "Oh, I want to give back to the world. I want to create a better place." But if you wanted to create a better place, then you're going to put yourself in a position where you have a company or you have a charity, and that charity is now investing. It's investing in education. It's investing in local municipalities. That's what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. So when we talk about, oh, well, I want to be in charity, I want to do charity, can I do it all in one entity? No, you're not going to do everything in one team. So they have charitable trust. And so many people are confused about that. Do I get a charitable remainder trust? Do I get a public foundation? Do I get a private foundation? Which charity do I get? Do I get a 501c3? They got people coming up. So I'm not getting a 501c3. I'm going to get a 501(c)(3) or a 50810 and all this other stuff. Oh, really? But the largest financial institutions in the world are, simply put, 501c3. The same people that wrote the 501c3 code, guess what? They wrote the 50818 code or whatever you want to talk about. It's the same people, but success leaves clues. It's not about, oh, well, they got five different entities, right? But if you want to study success, that's what an elite looks like. An elite looks like a politician. Politicians have what? They have multiple entities, and one of them is a 501c3. One of them is a blind trust. So they're very familiar with trust. They're very familiar with 501c3. That's how they operate internationally. When you go look at the Bill and Hillary Clinton Foundation. Oh no, Trust Christian, don't bring it up. It said it's been in the public before. It's a private family foundation, but it's been brought up in the public before for various different accusations. But they still in trust. They still in foundations. They got a foundation. Do you have a foundation? I didn't know I needed a foundation in my Echelon Trust Christian in the Vault. Okay, so now you're aware. When you hear other wealthy, elite, successful people say, I'm not giving money directly to my kids, why are you still trying to plan on giving money to your kids? But then you have poor people, middle class people say, well, yeah, if you give kids the money, if you give them all the money, they just go end up doing it and blowing it anyways, right? Wealthy people already know that. That's why wealthy people don't give money directly to their kids. They give it to a charity that their children run. They put managers in place so their children don't come in and squander everything. The children still sit on the board. They still sit on the board of trustees. They still sit on the board of the company. Oh, yeah, give my son a salary and tell him to shut up. Give my daughter a salary and she'll just sit in the meetings. Oh, it doesn't happen every day? Of course it does. That's why you don't see a lot of families that truly give the wealth directly to their children. It's an indirect approach because they understand if the child is not equipped, whether they're 30 or 40 years old, if they're not equipped mentally and emotionally to handle the actual business outcomes and the daily grind of business, they understand. We sat in front of entrepreneurs, high net worth investors say, oh yeah, my child's not built for this. Not built for what? Negotiations? Not built for what? Leading teams? Not built for what? Communicate? Not built for what? Having integrity? Not built for what? Having good communication skills? What are they not good at? All of the above, Christian. Really? So that makes them not qualified. Can you teach them anything? Are they teachable? Is your child teachable? Oh yeah, they're teachable. They were raised differently than I was. Let's keep talking. Cuz these are real things that we've heard, we've had conversations about. They say what? Oh yeah, trust Christian. They weren't raised like me. So you were raised harder and they were raised easier. So why is it harder for them to build a business? Why is it harder for them to manage well? Because they don't have the mental capacity, they don't have the emotional capacity. That's the challenge. Most people don't have the mental or emotional capacity. Then once we get into, okay, we got past the capacity, we get into the vehicles. Vehicles requires different responsibilities, a different thought process. So many people go into charity and they'll say, oh, it's a nonprofit, it's a nonprofit. It's not a nonprofit. The largest institutions in the world are charities. Your government is a charity. It gives out welfare. What are you talking about? The government gives out welfare. They tax other people and give the money to other people. It's called welfare. How is that not a charity? Oh, well, they taxing me, so that's why it's not a free obligation to just give the money away to them. Exactly, and you do have that choice because in the country, they tax entrepreneurs last. They tax employees first. So there is some options that you have. But when you don't want to exercise those options, then we know what you're left with, what you get. So the ones of us that wanted to make the choice, that want to go out and create and understand how and learn how the system works, learn how the system works, then you learn that, oh man, I was duped, Trust Christian. People told me charity ain't gonna make no money, so I can't make a salary and I can't live my life trying to help the world out. You could have been helping the world out if you did your research. Because charity is not nonprofit. Charity's tax exempt. Oh, I remember them saying that. I know they say that. I know it's tax exempt, but somehow I keep hearing nonprofit. So how does that work? Is it nonprofit or tax exempt? Last time we checked, do charities pay taxes? No. But do charities technically make a profit on paper? Ladies and gentlemen, go read the 990 PF for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Go read the 990 PF for the Bill and Hillary Clinton Foundation. Does it look like they're not making no money? So what does that mean, nonprofit? That's to control people. It's propaganda. It's to make you think this is an unworthy time endeavor. Not only that, when you're in a charity, when you're in a foundation, in our sector, we don't get taxed. You're right. But we have an obligation to give 5% of the money away. So for that reason, if you were in a charitable trust or in a foundation, you could actually go to other foundations and raise capital privately. Google Mind Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation, Carnegie Foundation, Ford Foundation, Walton Foundation. You want the list to keep going? They have an obligation to give out the money because they're tax exempt. And they're giving the money away to other charities. Oh man, it sounds a little bit more complicated. Yeah, it is. Because you actually got to get out your house and you got to go meet other foundations. You got to go meet other billionaires. You have to go meet other multimillionaires. And you're not begging, but you are letting them know, hey, I have a charity. We're looking to do impact investing or otherwise in the community. So you're saying you can't create affordable housing? Are you saying you can't go into and purchase properties with foundations through in opportunity zones, which is happening all the time, ladies and gentlemen? But the news is not promoting that. So how long is charity going to be around? Mentor says this. He said he's going to be around forever. I said okay. So that's where you need to invest your money, invest your time. You don't invest your money and time in charity. You invest it in charitable charity and trust. So that means there's a trust involved. It's not just a LLC. It's not just a C corp. It's not. Charity and trust. Are you in charity? Are you giving away money to the church every week? Are you trying to keep your tithes? We got people that got into the foundations just for that alone. To recapture the depreciation loss of the dollar. They got in trusteeship, they got in the foundation, and they just made it a point to do tithes through their foundation. Literally, they'll do their tithes through their foundation. Oh man, how could you do such a thing? First of all, tithes supposed to be 10%, so they're giving away more out of the foundation than they're supposed to, which covers themselves. That's the difference, ladies and gentlemen. That's the difference. Is you understand that there's a benefit to the foundation. There's a benefit to having a charity. You think about it. Your whole life might have been charity. Have you ever received welfare before? Yeah. So then you understand that it's an actual viable business. Have you ever received government assistance before? Yeah. Then you understand it's a viable business. Why is the government left to this type of thought process? Because individuals haven't stepped up to the plate. Individuals haven't stepped up to the plate. Have you ever received any type of assistance from the government before? That's charity. Oh no, don't say it to me like that. I paid into the government and they're giving me money back. First of all, they printed the money before you asked for it. They create forms of bonds before you ask for it. There's an interest on the bond too. The cost of money is interest, ladies and gentlemen, not the cost. Because if you just receive money at cost, there will be no need for a tax. But the reason why they got tax is an interest. It's an interest in the money that they're giving to the people. Not to say it's real money. Some people could come on and challenge, oh, you give it is a real money, trust Christian, it's not gold, it's not silver. It's not the real money. It's just pieces of paper. It's a debt instrument. It's a security instrument. And really we're the money. Okay? So how do you exchange with others? Through paper. Whether that's a contract or whether that's a Federal Reserve note, it's just through paper. So what's the debate? No one's saying that it replaces gold and silver. Dollar bills does not replace gold and silver. It didn't. They had pennies. They had nickels. They had dimes. They got a new form of currency and get ready to re-rolled out over a period of time. Crypto. So it's another form. People have accepted. They have accepted this as a form of payment. Oh man, everybody's talking about Bitcoin, but have you accepted it as a form of payment? That's what happened in the 1920s and 30s. They accepted Federal Reserve notes. Your family is accepting Federal Reserve notes. So let's not talk about if the money is real or not, if the Federal Reserve notes are real or not. It's real because you're accepting it. Just like when someone pays you a Bitcoin, if you accept it, then you accept the value that it's perceived by or as. Oh, really? Hey, just look at it. So back to charity and trust. How do we get back to charity and trust? Charity and trust looks like people actually understanding that charity is an investment. And you can invest in many different things as a charity. Traditionally, charity and trust looks like passive investments. A lot of the foundations we work with, they can't really be involved in active investments, so they're active, so they're involved in passive investments, self-directed investments, or donor advised investments. Yeah, that's the difference. They're in that sector, so the way that they give is a lot different. The restrictions on how they give is a lot different. Just like charity and trust, you got public trust and then you got charity and trust. You got public foundation, you got public charity, and then you have charity and trust. There's a difference. And we're here to share that with you because there's so many that'll say, "Oh man, trust Christian Vault. I didn't know charity was the. I thought I didn't think you could make money in charity. I don't know how to make money in a charity. Why do I need trust if I'ma just do a charity?" Then you got some trustees that'll say, "Oh man, you don't understand the 501c3. That's a government entity." What are you talking about? So the 508 ones or whatever you're talking about, 501(3)(d)s, all these other things, that's based off of the 501(c) code, 501c3 code. That's not government created. And then you get these people that really talk that talk, but they don't have legal counsel. They don't have financial counsel around them. They just make these random statements to trust Christian Revolt, thinking that we're wrong or thinking that we're trying to be an agent or something over the internet. What are you talking about? Every major financial institution has a charity and it is a 501c3. Now, if you want to sit here and, oh man, well, the NFL, I'm going to be like the NFL. You're not putting together, you're not raising private equity money to go into a city and promise them that you're going to gentrify an area and develop an area that's in a low income area and put a football or athletic stadium there, because that's where they are. They're not in traditional suburbs. They're in opportunity zones. They're in charitable zones. So they're trying to help, what do they call them? Disadvantaged kids to have an opportunity to get out of their neighborhoods. Because that's where the football stadiums are at. That's where the basketball stadiums are at. Oh no, well, not mine, Trust Christian. It's different. Yeah, because they gentrified the area. It took them years to build up that area. The team. The team which doesn't own the land, doesn't own the stadium, but y'all think that they own it. Oh man, these sports teams, man, they own it. First of all, if the sports team was so levered in ownership, why don't they own the stadiums? Because it's a charity to help out the disadvantaged children in the local neighborhood. It's a charity. It's in trust. The owners raise money privately to go in and do so. They don't own the stadium. That's how you know it's a charity. You go to a Costco building, they own the building. You go to a Walmart building, they own the building. Their name's on the side of the building. It ain't Walmart building supplied by Amazon. They don't have sponsors. Oh, the business model is different. No, ladies and gentlemen, it's about charity. Charity means you don't own anything. You just control it. That's why it's so much easier to be a trustee in charity than it is in trust. Because people, when they traditionally get in trust, they think, oh man, it's still mine. I still own it. I own it. I said, I put my house into charity, but somehow I still own it. I tell my friends that. I tell my family that. We all own it. I own it. I own it. That's all I talk about is I own the house, right? It's like, okay, well, you don't. The charity owns the house. Okay. So now you have a situation where you're not in ownership, you're in control. And ownership incurs liability. People find it so hard because it's just a lack of study. It's so important to study and learn, okay, they actually do have charity and trust. And then actually follow success leaves clues. What's success leaves clues? Success leaves clues where you'll see that you're not the only person sitting on the board. Two, oh man, Trust Christian Vault. I don't know. I don't know how to deal with charity and trust. You can reach out to the Vault for mentorship. Christian at trustchristian.com. And once again, that just comes down to being mentored in the type of charity that you want to do and trust, whatever that is. And not sitting here saying, oh yeah, what did it say? It's a nonprofit. How am I going to make money? Can I make money? Can I live my life in this entity? There are people living their lives in charity every single day. Every single day. The question is not, oh, can I do it? The question is do you have a viable plan? Do you have a team? Do you have a strategy? Those are various different things that you need when you're talking about, oh man, I want to do charity and trust as a business, which you can. But so many, they look on the outside and it's just, oh man, I don't, that says nonprofit, I don't know what it is. And then, well, they change their language. Well, I just keep calling it a nonprofit because that's all I know. I don't know about a tax exempt entity. I know it's tax exempt, but they call it a nonprofit, and I'm not sure why they call it nonprofit, so I'm gonna keep calling it a nonprofit. No, that's not how it works. Just because someone says that the sky is green doesn't mean that it's green. That's just the color that they want to tell you they see. So just because somebody says that a nonprofit says it's nonprofit, that's not accurate. The entity couldn't be in business. It wouldn't even have to file taxes if it didn't make any money. That's why the tax exempt entities file taxes. But then you hear it as a nonprofit because the gov, I guess some agents, they're like, we don't want to call it tax exempt. Way too many people would do this if it's called tax exempt. So we're going to call it a nonprofit so we can scare regular uneducated people away. So now you don't think that charity, you can live your life through charity. Everybody want to help out the world, but how come when you get out of school, you don't go out and raise money as a charity? Why don't you do that if you want to help the world out? Everybody say they want to help the world. Oh, I want to help the world. I love helping people. I love helping people. I want to help people. So if you want to help people, I got to help people through their mental diseases. I have to help people through their weight diseases. But you didn't go out and start a charity. You didn't go out and start a nonprofit business. What you did was went out and then you wonder, oh man, well, how am I going to get this off the ground? Because I don't know how to raise capital. The easiest place to raise capital is actually in the foundation sector. It's actually in the charity sector. Why? Because we have to give money away. Do you hear the thought process? We have to give money away. So the only difference is our mentors educated us to make money when we do that. Because people think, oh man, well, how can I make money giving it to someone else? Well, first of all, charities can invest. It's a person, it's an entity, and it can invest. Wow. So the entity's making money tax free? There you go. No wonder they don't want to call it a non. No wonder they don't want to call it that. No wonder they want people to call it non-profit. Because I got to go out and make money with this thing. I got to go out and build a business like any other business. Right. This business is just has some exemptions, which is exciting. Has an exemption to allow you to grow the funds faster. How come people don't tell you to start with your charity first? Why do they tell you to go out and build a business first? Because they're not successful. Success leaves clues. Successful people, the true ones, they tell you, oh yeah, I'm not leaving any money to my kids. That's how you know they're truly wealthy. Because they understand you can't give anyone. You look at lottery winners. You cannot just give someone money, a million. You just cannot do that. It's just the studies have shown there's already been enough reports. These people do things that are not normal at that point anyways. You have abnormal money, so you're going to do abnormal things. Bottom line. And they do. So you hear wealthy people say, oh man, I'm not going to give my kids any money. Right. But people are, who's the beneficiary of your trust? Who's the beneficiary? Well, who's the beneficiary of the charitable trust? It's not your children. It's who? It's the it's the population, the public. That's who's doing it. That's who's doing it. So we appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listen, replay. If you want to get a mentor, get a consultation, feel free to reach out Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, Christian at trustchristian.com. We just wanted to come on and set the record straight. So many people, they talk about this charity thing. They think it's a nonprofit. It's not. You can't even find that. Where does the government call it a nonprofit? The actual true IRS call it a nonprofit. They don't say that. They call it what it is, a charitable entity. They get specific on the numbering that you have so you can be clear on the type of exemption you have. But oh no, the public, they've been duped talking about, oh yeah, well, it's called a nonprofit. So what does that mean? Does that mean you don't make any money as an advisor? Does that mean you don't make money as the starter of it? What does that mean? Does that mean that the entity tax exempt? What does that mean? It's nonprofit. Nonprofit. It's nonprofit, huh? What about you? Are you non-profitable? Because if you're not, it doesn't come down to that. It comes down to the entity being tax exempt. That's all it comes down to. And charity and trust looks like a private family foundation, doesn't look like a public foundation. A lot of people want to know the difference. Your public foundations got a lot more restrictions. Your public foundations, they're under a lot more scrutiny. They're public entities. So when you talk about charity and trust, oh man, I didn't even know that was a step. Trust Christian, I thought I was just gonna have to do a public charity. I was gonna have to do a public charity. Okay, but you don't. Now you know. Just like it's not only what people call nonprofit, it's private charities. There's private charities, Trust Christian, and guess what? They get the exemption too, for tax exempt. They get it too. So it's nothing new. Heads up, it's nothing new. And it's more private. Just like you want to be in private trust, it actually afforded that level of privacy in private foundations. No way, Trust Christian. Why do you think these foundations are out here doing all this stuff? People try to condemn them and say they're doing crooked stuff and everything else. But the reason why they're out here doing that, ones that are doing it successfully, is because they're private. You can't look at everything that they're doing. See, we're living in an era where people don't believe in privacy. Oh no, Trust Christian, I don't believe in privacy because I have everything that I ever put out on the internet. I'm showing off everything. Right. You can see my bathroom. Right. That's not how the world works. What you want, a wake up call? Which y'all want us to start talking that differential talk? Oh man, you stuck in the matrix, man. You don't believe in privacy. But if you do believe in privacy and you do know that privacy is real and you do know they're private corporations and you do know they're private foundations and you want to get started, Christian at trustchristian.com is that email to get going and get more of the truth about, or even just listen to the channel. But to sit here and say, oh no, there's no privacy. No, you're not private. That's who's not private. How you gonna sit here and say there's no privacy when the private came before the public? You were born before a social security number. Somehow you picked up a public number. You were born before your name was ever on the birth certificate. That's right. You were private before you were public. Before there was a public chattel paper made for you. Before there was a welfare number made for you, just in case you failed in life. In case you didn't save up enough money for retirement. Oh, Trust Christian, I didn't save up enough money for retirement, so I got to collect Social Security. Right. Thought Social Security wasn't even enough money to live off. Right. Because it's welfare. It's not enough money to live off. It's welfare. But you can actually build your own welfare program too. For yourself, investing, and charity. Like you're supposed to. Think about it. The government is so unsophisticated right now. All they do is brag about being in debt. But they got literally companies in the same country on the stock market that are supposedly worth more or just the same as parts of the government. Why? Because somehow some people understand the system. And then guess what? Other peoples are just using it. How they gonna sit here and tell y'all every day, oh yeah, we're trillions of dollars in debt. But these are the same people managing companies. Because you want to believe that it's a nonprofit? It's not a nonprofit. It's a welfare system. It takes in just enough money to give out just enough money. And you would think the system shouldn't even be paying the people that are volunteering as politicians. But somehow, guess what? They get a salary. So they're taking from the tax funds that were taxed to give the funds away to less advantaged people. So they're taking money from you, the hard worker, and giving it to who? The disadvantaged, because they were lazy, or maybe because they're hurt, or various different reasons. How long is charity going to be around? What the mentor said? Forever. And as you can see, if you plan on collecting Social Security, then guess what? Charity is going to be around. No doubt about it. The only difference is it going to be in trust? What is your family going to do to change the economy? What is your family going to do in charity to change your neighborhood? What can you do? What you can do is set yourself up properly. Be prepared and give the right way. Just give in the right way. Give in the way that the system allows you to give the right way. Give successfully. That's what. Give the right way, not the wrong way. Being Duke talking about, oh, it's non-profit, so I'm supposed to go home feeble-minded. Charity and trust, it looks like you in rooms with other families, other foundations, and pass along money to each other. So you can go out and do charitable causes. People with capital give money to charity. If you're a charity and trust, you bring a lot of security, a lot of peace of mind to whoever you're dealing with. Why? Because they appreciate you actually, uh, they appreciate you having a cause, one, and two, they appreciate you because you're at least doing your best to put an effort out for the cause. Wealthy people, we already know that every cause is not going to get taken care of in our lifetime, too, as well. But when you have excess amounts of cash, you give the cash to people that are actually going to go out and do the work, and they have a track record for doing the work. That's where we are. And it's a lot more control inside of trust. So if you want to look forward to private trustee training, Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, it's Christian at trustchristian.com. Look forward to hearing from you. Peace and joy.